Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Crimson and today I am bringing forward a new video on a game I said I would never make another video on again. Cybernet. You all kept requesting it since the last video and I really was against it because of how they did the 3.0 version. But with the release of 4.1, I have been playing it again and actually enjoying it now. I like this new way that they are doing with it, and they brought back my favorite part about it, the malware. So without further ado, let's get into this tutorial on the updated beginner malware video. But before we begin, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe, so I know you like this type of content. Alrighty, so let's get straight into this. We're gonna go and just make a new program, and just move the end of it. So, for essentially what we're gonna be doing is whenever we scan a network, once it's up, we're going to want it to, first off, scan the network. Hold on. Scan the network. Then afterwards have it scan the devices. Move to that network. Hack into it. Of course, go through the minigame, which it does go through it by itself sometimes, or most of the time. And then, of course, hack into the device. We'll go ahead and just use this one. Of course, you're doing this because of the pesky, probably the pesky mini games here, especially this one in particular. So we'll go ahead and just remove that one. Oh yeah, gotta move off of it. And remove. So let's go ahead and head back to our block run. So while we're here, here's how we get started. So of course, whenever you begin, we want to scan it. So we want to go all the way down here and grab our scan. Connect it to the start, and then go all the way back up to get target IP. Drag that bad boy over, and connect it to the scan. What target IP will do is the target IP we have, like let's say the store for instance, we click on it, run our program, for instance, like let's say POC, which is what we're building. It'll instantly scan it, and then of course move into the others. So let's go ahead and stop POC from running, and remove that one. We'll just keep these here. Now, forewarning, this program will require some prerequisites, ideally, for it to work at its optimal base. For instance, having a good CPU so that it can get through the hacks quickly. Another thing it would be best to have is exploits. So for instance, in the void, exploits, you want to of course get more libraries along with firewall bypasses so that it can get around those pesky firewalls, which I'll go ahead and get in Null Shield version 1.2 while I'm at it. So let's get back into this. So we're going to go ahead and just save this. Oh, well, we'll just have it go straight to the end. Save as, we'll just call this tutorial or tutorialware. There we go. And now we can go ahead and test it. So we'll go ahead and test it on this access point here. Programs, tutorialware, and boom, scans it. And then of course, it'll tell you in here that it is done. So we'll go ahead and just remove that one for our testing purposes and come back to block run. So now that it'll scan, what we want now is to scan the devices. So we'll do a scan all, run it, and it needs a list and a network. The network will be the target IP, and the list will be the device list. We'll go ahead and connect it list to list, net IP to network. We all caught up? If you need to slow down the video, by all means do it. So let's move on. So what this will do is scan all the devices on the network. So we'll go ahead and show that real quick. Don't forget to always save. Head back to the network, and we'll go ahead and scan this store. And boom, all three are scanned. So now, let's say if we have one with a firewall, like this one. So now what we want to do is actually an if statement. So if, go and connect the next to the run, we need a condition. The condition would be has firewall. So if the IP has a firewall, if it's true, then we want to move into another if statement. So if true, we need to check if we have the firewall. So if we can bypass it. Of course, same target IP. And then do the condition. If we can bypass it, awesome, we'll be moving on. But if we can't, well, then we're just gonna have to end it. Of course, we'll save it for now, but we're not going to run it yet. So, boom and boom. So, if there is a firewall, what we're going to be doing is go to bypass. Drag it up there. If true, go ahead and run the bypass with the target IP connected to it. And then it'll move on to the first for each statement. It'll run into that. What we'll also do is for the false, for if it has a firewall, we will also connect it to the for each. So, we're just going to move that there, move that there. Now we're going to get back to this device list over here. Boom. Connect that all the way to there. So for each device, what it will do is what we want it to do. Ideally, what we want is for it to hack the device with the best library it has, then move on to withdraw, and then wipe the logs. So let's go ahead and get to work on that. So for the body, what we're going to do is, where is it? We'll do hack. So it'll move straight into the hack. The device will be the item, and the lib or library will be, the best library. Connect it to there. The device will of course be item, and we would like the minimum permission to be user, because without user we can't really withdraw. Of course, if you have a good library, you can always go for admin, but this is just a beginner software. Nothing, too difficult. However, there is a problem here. What if we don't have the library? So we're going to go ahead and remove that hack and go to grab has valid library. Item will be device, and we'll move it back here. If we'll go ahead and move the body to run. If it has a valid library, if true, it'll move on to the hack. If false, it'll just move on to the next device. So once it is hacked, what we want to do next is check to see if it has any row coins. So device has row coins. If it has row coins, which will connect the device to item. If true, we want to withdraw all of it. Here it is, withdraw from the device. Amount, ideally, I just do all, because, just take it all. But if you have preferences, of course, you can just set it to the amount that you want it to be, or throw in a value to do so. If it's false, however, as it does, it'll just move on to the next. That's ideally just for routers, but sometimes you do run into others that already have been wiped clean. So after it has withdrawn, we want to wipe the device logs. And then connect the item to the device. We'll go ahead and just scrunch it down a bit. Once that is done, it'll move on. This will be a loop until each of the devices have been gone through. So now, once it's done, what we're gonna do It just took me until now until I realized something. I forgot to have us move. It is pretty important that we move to the IP. So we're gonna have to make a bit of space here. That is my bad. I completely forgot about that. It slipped the mind. But it is a-okay. It is a easy fix, and sometimes does happen whenever you're making malware. You just forget something. So you want to remove the run and replace it with the move, and then connect it to the run. Do not forget to connect the bypass and the false if statement for has firewall to it, with the IP being the target IP. Now we're onto the network, and then it'll run this entire line of code. So now what we're going to want to do is, when it is done going through everything and wiping the device logs, we want it to, of course, wipe the network logs so nobody finds you. So we'll run the network log, which will be the current IP. Here we go. Since we don't need to do target IP, since we're on the network itself, we will wipe the network logs. We will log out of everything, and then move back home. We'll use the move, and then home network. Now from there, you can of course delete the or remove the connections and all that. It is up to you. But what we're going to do is just move back home and then just end the program there. And voila! Now we're going to save it and give it a good old test. Probably not on that one. Actually, we'll go ahead and test it. Tutorialware. If I have the firewall bypass for it, which it does not seem I do. Nope. Because it's crypto barrier. Alright, we'll try on this one instead. Tutorialware. So, that one, I guess, did not have a library that I could access. Let's double check. Nope. So we'll move back home and remove that one. Alright, here we go. This is a little more favorable for a test. We'll go ahead and try on this one. Tutorialware. Okay, I guess that one couldn't be hacked. But that one could. Okay, so clearly I forgot to add something that is kind of important. What we want to do is run the libraries so that it can understand what all the libraries are. So after it bypasses the firewall and all that, what we'll have it do is go straight into libraries. So moving it from bypass to libraries and scan all, not scan all, keeping it on run. It is the false on the if statement here. Libraries, it'll scan the libraries that are required and run. Now it knows what libraries there is. If true, it will hack with the best library. Target, of course, the target IP, and it'll move. So, let's try again. We'll go ahead and try it on this one, just to check our work. Okay, we moved, which means it checked through the libraries. And we'll go ahead and head to the terminal, and look at that. We are already hacking into things. Of course, it had to skip through the router, because it seems like I don't have the library for it. But there we go. It is going through, hacking, and clearing things out. So there you go. Now you have yourself the malware that you want, and it does work. Now, of course, it is all completely dependent on if you have the libraries and the firewall for it. Well, and the firewalls. And it also depends on if you got a good system running. So, while it does its thing, I'm gonna see y'all out. Anyways, thank you all for watching so much. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Join the Discord down below. It is in both the comments and the description. I'll see y'all in the next one. And if you want more content like this, just comment it down below. I always check my comments, so make sure to send it. And if you want to see my live streams, I live stream almost every day on Twitch. Link for that is also in the description down below. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.